Okay, welcome to session number 10. We've been talking about, well, I started talking about visions in my last video, and I will continue that in this one. Um, First of all, we need to talk a little bit about what is a vision. Um, a vision basically is a goal. The self-development people talk about goals and stretch goals and things like that. Basically, what they're talking about are visions for the near term. That's a goal. Uh, Basically, a picture of where you want to be or a plan for where you want to be. And then there are what they call stretch goals, which is something far down the road. Well, maybe not that far, but something down the road, so a place where you want to be. And I'm noticing that I haven't done little things like the lights. Hang on a second. Okay, that's better, I think. I don't have quite so much light on my face, not quite so much glare from my glasses. An improvement. Or well, you may not think so. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Um, anyway, we're talking about goals or visions. Uh, you have a vision or a picture of where you want to be at one time. Perhaps when you were getting close to graduating from high school, or maybe in your first years in college, you had a goal or a vision of what kind of career path you wanted to be following, what kind of things you wanted to be doing with your life. Some of you, may have gone into well, people do go into the medical field, partly because they want to help people. They want to uh, make them, help them to overcome the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that have struck them. Uh, Now, some people go into the medical field more for uh, the notion that it pays better than a lot of other fields. Uh, they may or may not be all that concerned about genuinely helping people, but they are certainly concerned about the compensation package that comes with the medical profession or career. The same can be said for the fields, for several other fields, like, for instance, law. Many people become lawyers because of the money. Uh, some people become uh, computer uh, technicians, uh, information technology people because of the money. Uh, on the other hand, many people become medical professionals or legal professionals or computer professionals because they love it. Uh, and then there are people who pursue a number of other fields, mostly because they love it, even though the money is not all that hot. Now, one of the things you can do to sort of balance that out, to compensate for the money not being all that hot, is pursue some other avenue as a secondary income or even as a main income, and do the thing that really appeals to you simply because you love it. Uh, I personally have, oh, uh, I've just never been that concerned about money. I've um studied and pursued astrology for a good 40 years. I did get a degree in statistics at Michigan State University. Um, I've had some other miscellaneous training. I've worked a lot of different kinds of jobs, but um, I never really made money much of a goal. Uh, Now, a better way to look at the money side of it is it as a way to kind of keep score, to kind of see how you're doing. Uh, an idea of how does the outside world value what you're doing. And in that respect, it can be useful. I mean, obviously, in our society, it's critically necessary. There are people who live under the radar with very little, from a material aspect anyway. Most of them who live that way, intentionally that is, find that there are trade-offs, there are other benefits to living as far from the grip of material society and concerns with money on a more or less day-to-day basis as they possibly can. Some of these people are, they live in the forests on their own. There's a guy named Mick Dodge, who was a Marine, and he was an engineer. I'm not sure if he's still alive or not, but he and some of his other friends, associates, lived up in the forests of Washington and Oregon State, and he lived completely off the land. Well, almost completely, and he had as little to do with society and money, material society anyway, as he possibly could. He tended to avoid people, other people, and avoid modern technology as insofar as he could. I mean, he lived out there on the land, completely natural, and he loved it. There are some, I believe PBS has some videos of Mick Dodge, and you might even be able to find some on YouTube. I'm not sure. He's one example. There are other examples. Obviously, in our society, that's not a usual choice, and it's not an easy way to go. But his vision, as nearly as I can tell, was to be one with nature, to live as naturally as possible, to live in harmony and in sync with the natural environment. Hey, if you can do it, and that's what you want, and in fact, it kind of has to be what you want for you to be able to do it, because it's not an easy road to hoe. But it's one of those things where you certainly have to have your own vision of what it is you want, where it is you want to be, how it's going to make you feel, and it's got to be something you love. Now, I've had a fair amount of association with internet marketers over the past 6 months or so, and I've sort of stuck my toe in internet marketing a few times in the years before that. And some of these people, many of these people, are very passionate about marketing and feel that there's a social benefit to it, as well as the fact that it's how they make their living. They're very much into it. I'm not sure that I will ever be quite that into it, as that's not really my first love, but it is something that I've decided I need to learn, because I need a secondary income stream to support the things that I really do love, and to care for and support the people that are really important to me. So one of the things about your vision is it has to include some way in which it's going to support itself, in which it's going to bring you the resources you need to succeed. For most of us, that means part of our vision has to include, how we're going to make money. How are we going to live? And that needs to be, if you want to be successful and you want to be all you can be, that needs to include some way to generate resources. One of those ways that's available to us these days is internet marketing. However, there are some things about internet marketing that you need to take into account, and there are also a number of other models in terms of how people manage to support their dream and manage to live their dream and do what they love that also work. Now, obviously, internet marketing gives you a vast audience, a vast potential market. You do have to learn certain skill sets to be able to be successful at it, but that's true of anything that you do, even things that you absolutely love. You still need to master the basic skill sets that are necessary to be successful at it. And basically you have to pay your dues. And so part of your vision needs to be, how are you going to pay your dues? What's involved? I mean, it's not only a picture. It's not only a picture. I lost my screen for a minute. It's not only a picture of how you want to feel at the end, where you want to be, but it's also a picture of how you're going to put the pieces together. But that is actually more important when you get to the point where you're actually taking action and making that vision real. But speaking of, since we're speaking first and foremost of visions, your vision has to do with how, where you want to be, how you want to be all you can be, how you're going to feel as you approach that. Obviously, like perfection, being all you can be is a work in progress. It's an ideal. It's not something that you will probably ever completely achieve, although you'll be able to achieve steps along the way. And as you achieve these steps, you will experience a sense of accomplishment, fulfillment, and a much stronger sense of really knowing who you are, being comfortable in your own skin, of feeling like you're spiritually connected as well as having a good state otherwise. Your physical body, your mental outlook, all of these things. And that's another part of your vision, in that as you move towards achieving your vision, you will change yourself. There's no question about it. As you change, you will discover that there are certain, attitudes and approaches that become necessary to achieving your vision, to succeeding. More often than not, it's there is no one size fits all. Anybody who tells you, oh, if you want to succeed at this or that, or if you want to succeed at being a lawyer, or you want to succeed at being a doctor, or you want to succeed at being an internet marketer, for all that, that you need to imitate these people. You need to see what it is they do. The phrase is, I want to learn to do what you do to get what you've got. Well, usually there's more than one way to do it. You can learn a lot by observing and following what successful people do in various fields. If if that field is the one you want to succeed in, but you don't have to be a carbon copy of them. Your values, some of your core values may be different. Who you are may be radically different. So you have to kind of explore a little bit. You have to try a couple of different things. Unfortunately, this takes time and resources in and of itself. However, if your guide is a firm knowledge of yourself and you craft an achievable vision, and one that's in harmony with and in support of becoming all you can be, then odds are, first of all, you're going to succeed, and second of all, you're going to be very much fulfilled and very much and have very much have a sense of accomplishment, being in the right space internally as well as externally. And that's something that we're all working on together, pretty much. One of the reasons that I put this video series together, aside from the challenge that I accepted, is that I wanted to share my perspective on these things with you. And hopefully, as I develop the resource pages, one of which should be coming up this coming week, you will, as the marketers say, you will find value in it. Putting it in a little bit more direct sense, you'll find it useful to you. You'll find it something that helps you, even if you don't share my perspective, and I certainly don't expect you to. And even if you don't share my perspective, hopefully you will get insights into perspectives that work for you in the process of this exercise that we're going through together. I'm doing this as much to help me as I'm doing it to help you. Hopefully, by the time we're done, we will all be closer to being all we can be. We'll at least another step down that road, have a little bit clearer picture of exactly what that is, what intermediate visions and goals we need to set up to get there and succeed at that. And we'll learn ways and resources that we can use to take action to advance our cause, or move us along closer to being all we can be. And I've run a little longer than usual this time, but there it is. And so next time we'll talk a little bit more about how we can craft these visions. Hopefully, well, I expect to have a resource link for you by then. Well, by the end of this coming week anyway. And we'll be ready to move on into wrapping up how do you craft a vision, and then the resources and means and approaches you need to use to take action to start making it real. Until next time, have a great night or day or whatever it is where you are. Later.